If you press the right buttons on your phone, you can make this happen. Oh. Okay, maybe that's not quite how it works, but it can feel like that when I check my Skillshare teacher dashboard to see how my classes are performing. Headline figures, as you can see, of a smidge over $500 with an expected $45 payment on the way. 236 students and nearly 10,000 minutes taught. That's nearly 7 days of solid teaching, which is quite cool if you think about it from an educational aspect. And by the way, the statistics that I share with you in this video should be considered to have come from organic traffic. Now there are 4 things I want to share with you in this video, and then I'll share with you what you can do with that information. Come with me and let's have a deep dive and look into this. Before I go into the details that I want to share with you, it would be beneficial if I gave you a bit of context. I have 3 classes on Skillshare all around learning how to use the core features within the CAD software called Onshape. A great piece of software, but it isn't the mainstream software that is used. I think it has potential for the future though. Onshape allows you to build 3D parametric models, drawings, assemblies, usually for engineering purposes. Though there is an interesting opportunity that I want to explore, which is selling 3D assets on stock websites like Envato. I use these all the time for things like YouTube thumbnails. So Skillshare has a pretty good dashboard for looking at your statistics and earnings, including some slightly interactive graphs which you can filter by days, weeks and months. Just here, I usually filter by months, so minutes watched and students, as well as earning history down below. Now, Udemy is obviously a rival to Skillshare, where Udemy requires a one-off purchase to gain access to a course. But Skillshare works differently. With Skillshare, a student that pays a membership fee will watch the class. Every minute elapses contributes to that minutes watched figure you saw on the dashboard, where every minute consumed by the student is to be paid for. And this would happen every minute. So the more minutes watched and the number of students watching, the more profitable the classes will be. So if you divide the total earnings by the minutes watched, you get 5 US cents. That's the rate which Skillshare pays you per minute of your class viewed, which might seem low to you, but just remember it's a numbers game. If you have lots of minutes viewed, this number won't be so much of a concern to you, as long as it doesn't drop. I have more on the average earnings per minute viewed later in the video. This is a key piece of information for you if you are thinking of teaching on Skillshare. Now from the dashboard you can select an individual class and look at the stats per class. And it's a slightly different layout from the teacher's overall stats, as we have this total visitor number and information on students down below over the last 28 days. And we can calculate a conversion rate for the enrollments of these classes. Just to make sure we're all on the same page of what conversion rate actually means, here's a visual representation. Imagine that this jar of sweets represents the students on Skillshare searching for courses on 3D modeling. And this jar here represents my class. I want to get the students or the sweets from this jar and get them into this class such that they learn from me so that I get the minutes of watch time and get paid. The only problem is that there's a small window of opportunity to capture your prospective students and get them to enroll in your class, symbolized by the small opening on this bottle. I could get a ton of visitors, but it's highly unlikely I'm going to capture the entire audience. And as you can see, only a small proportion made it into the class. Wait, if this is a visual representation and these sweets are representing students, should I really be eating them? So if we take the number of visitors against how many students we have, 129 students divided by 2,130 visitors, and we get a conversion rate of 6%. Do something similar with these numbers and we can see on average how much each student watched, which turns out to be about 48 minutes per student, which isn't bad. We can do this for the other 2 classes as well, giving 4.5% conversion rate for 2D drawings and 30 minutes average watch time, and 3.5% conversion rate for 3D assemblies and 35 minutes watch time per student. So they're all similar. Now, I know that the conversion rate on my Onshape course on Udemy, which is all 3 classes put together, is more like 10%. Difficult to compare to determine if the conversion rate is genuinely better on Udemy, as the product is slightly different, but it gives you some idea of how you can compare between the two platforms. Ideally, we want to improve the conversion rate. One way in which that could be done is by using a funnel. Again, back to our visual representation to get through this narrow neck. We could use this funnel to direct more of our prospective students to our class, and as you can see, more make it into the class. The only funnel that I really have is with YouTube, where you're watching me from. But my audience, so you, are unlikely to be interested in these classes, and that's absolutely fine. And that's because my YouTube channel is more around passive income than 3D modeling. But if my YouTube channel was about 3D design, or my classes about passive income, it's likely that I could increase that conversion rate. And that brings me on to the fact that there are two types of income which I'm referring to with Skillshare. You know about students paying for the amount of minutes watched, but there is also something called affiliate marketing, which is related to these funnels. If I am successful in getting students to sign up to Skillshare using a link, like those shown in the description, I'll get an affiliate fee. So think of that as a bonus for the referrer. And strangely, I've been able to encourage a couple of students to do just that. And that shows up here. So a total of $20 earned from affiliate earnings, which is the grand total of affiliate earnings that I've generated over all the income streams that I've tried. And that's what this breakdown here is showing. Affiliate referral earnings and the earnings from the teacher fund. So that's the pay per minute thing. The teacher fund is the official name for how the primary teacher payment works. Basically, all paying students have their membership fees paid into a pot. Skillshare dips their hand into that pot to take their share. Then the remainder is divided up depending on the percentage of watch time each teacher achieves with their classes against the total watch time of all teachers. And because the size of this pot changes from month to month depending on how many paying student subscriptions there are, the average earning per minute also fluctuates. Now, unfortunately, this metric does not show on your dashboard, but you can calculate it. But that's only if you've recorded data outside of Skillshare, as it only tracks minutes watched per month for 6 months. And here is that data over a number of months, where unfortunately I forgot to record 3 months worth of information. You can see though that there is a high of 8.8 cents per minute and a low of 3.8 cents per minute, with generally a reducing trend, other than the last month, which gives some hope for the start of an upward trend. In terms of my earnings over time, we have this information down here, which covers your earnings from the teacher fund and affiliates. This looks better as a graph, where you can see a bit of growth going on here, which is comforting. I hope that keeps going. There is 1 month which didn't see a payment, as 75 minutes were not accrued during that month, but that contrasts with the best month to date of $78, which was last month. So how does this compare with Udemy earnings? Well, there's a video in the description which covers this in more detail. However, I will give you a quick spoiler, and that is that parity was nearly achieved in 1 month. Now, if you're interested in making classes or courses, then check out this video for my earnings through the Udemy platform, which presents a fantastic opportunity for you to maximize your profits by selling on 2 platforms. You know it makes sense. It's really hard to film with all these. I keep eating them. I might have to go back to the shops again.